American history is punctuated by powerful spiritual awakenings, often referred to as revivals. These movements have undeniably sparked profound spiritual transformations across the nation. They have reshaped communities, inspired countless individuals, and left an indelible mark on the American religious landscape. From the fervent sermons of the First Great Awakening to the global impact of Azusa Street, revivals have been a driving force. They have mobilized believers, fostered social change, and offered a sense of renewed purpose. Their positive contributions are well documented and widely celebrated within faith traditions. Yet, a deeper, more nuanced inquiry into these phenomena reveals a complex narrative. We must ask what happens when raw emotion eclipses thoughtful understanding. What are the implications when charismatic leaders accrue unchecked influence? And how might spiritual passion, however sincere, inadvertently lead to unintended consequences? This investigation seeks to explore these critical questions. Our approach is that of a scholar's ledger, meticulously balancing accounts. We aim to reveal the intricate interplay of history, faith, and power within revival culture. This means acknowledging the undeniable inspiration alongside moments of tension, confusion, and controversy. We embark on this journey not to diminish the genuine spiritual experiences, but to understand the full spectrum. Our purpose is to explore what some might term the darker side of revival culture. This examination is crucial for a comprehensive understanding of American religious history. To properly analyze revival movements, we must first establish a clear definition. A revival is far more than mere religious excitement or a temporary surge in church attendance. It represents a profound, collective encounter with the divine. It signifies a movement where individuals and communities experience God in fresh, transformative ways. This often leads to widespread spiritual renewal and a re-energized commitment to faith. Such movements are characterized by a palpable sense of spiritual urgency. Historically, we can point to several pivotal examples. The First Great Awakening in the 1730s dramatically reshaped colonial religious life. The Azusa Street revival of 1906 ignited the global Pentecostal movement. Even today, modern charismatic conferences and large-scale evangelistic crusades echo these historical patterns. They continue to draw vast numbers seeking spiritual encounter. These events share common, identifiable elements that define the revival experience. High emotion is almost always a central feature, often expressed through fervent worship and testimonies. Passionate preaching, delivered by compelling figures, serves as a catalyst for spiritual awakening. A pervasive sense of spiritual urgency often compels participants to make immediate decisions. This urgency can lead to powerful, life-altering commitments. The biblical narrative itself provides a context for understanding spiritual awakenings. The book of Acts describes a rapid spread of spiritual awakening following Pentecost. This early Christian movement saw thousands converted and communities transformed. However, Scripture also offers crucial warnings regarding discernment. The Bereans, commended in Acts 17:11, diligently tested teachings against Scripture. This biblical precedent underscores the importance of careful examination. One of the most significant challenges within revival culture lies in the delicate balance between emotional experience and clear understanding. Revivals are inherently designed to evoke strong feelings. The atmosphere of large gatherings, amplified by music and collective spiritual charge, can be overwhelming. This dynamic often creates an environment where emotional fervor can inadvertently overshadow critical discernment. Participants may find themselves swept up in the moment. The question then arises, how does one truly discern authentic spiritual revival? How do we differentiate it from influence driven by peer pressure, fear, or mere excitement? This is not to invalidate genuine emotion, but to ensure it is grounded. True spiritual growth requires both heart and mind engaged in the process. Without careful discernment, experiences can be misinterpreted or misattributed. This can lead to confusion rather than lasting spiritual maturity. The challenge is to cultivate an environment where deep emotion coexists with thoughtful reflection. Revival movements frequently coalesce around leaders possessing extraordinary charisma and powerful personalities. These individuals often serve as the primary conduits for the movement's message and energy. While their gifts can be instrumental in inspiring thousands, this reliance carries inherent risks. The concentration of spiritual authority and influence in a single figure can lead to potential misuse of power. This misuse is not always intentional or malicious. It can stem from the sheer weight of influence, the intensity of collective emotion, and the expectations placed upon them. The Bible itself offers a sobering warning in Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. This scripture encourages a healthy skepticism and careful evaluation of spiritual leadership. Our purpose here is to encourage critical thinking, not to cast accusations. It is to foster an environment where accountability is paramount. The problem arises when the line between spiritual guidance and personal influence becomes blurred. When one voice dominates without sufficient checks and balances, the potential for deviation increases. This can lead to a cult of personality rather than a focus on divine truth. A healthy spiritual movement requires diverse voices and robust systems of accountability. It demands that leaders serve rather than dominate the community. Organizing large-scale revival events and sustaining ongoing ministries involves legitimate and substantial costs. Venues must be secured, equipment rented, and travel arranged for speakers and teams. Staff salaries, administrative overhead, and various program expenses are also necessary. It is important to acknowledge that the vast majority of religious leaders manage their resources responsibly and with integrity. They are committed to stewarding donations for the stated purposes of their ministries. However, historical accounts reveal recurring concerns regarding financial practices within some revival movements. Aggressive fundraising tactics, unclear financial reporting, and a lack of transparency regarding the use of donations have periodically surfaced. These issues can erode trust and divert resources from their intended spiritual objectives. The core issue at stake is transparency. How are funds solicited, managed, and dispersed? Are financial records openly accessible to stakeholders and independent auditors? Without clear and consistent financial transparency, questions and suspicions inevitably arise. This can undermine the credibility of the movement and its leaders. It is a call for greater accountability, ensuring that financial stewardship aligns with spiritual principles. This protects both the integrity of the ministry and the generosity of its supporters. Revival environments, with their intense emotional atmosphere, can sometimes create an unspoken pressure to display enthusiasm. This might manifest as expectations for shouting, falling, or speaking in emotionally charged ways. Participants may feel compelled to exhibit these outward signs regardless of their genuine internal experience. This pressure can lead to inauthentic expressions of faith, where outward performance supersedes sincere spiritual engagement. The long-term impact of such experiences can be detrimental. Individuals may experience burnout from sustained emotional intensity. They might face confusion if their internal experience doesn't match the external display. Disappointment can set in if the promised spiritual breakthroughs do not materialize. This raises a crucial question. How can we protect the emotional and psychological health of individuals? How can we pursue genuine spiritual renewal without fostering an environment of undue pressure? The historical precedent of enthusiasm without guidance during the Second Great Awakening offers a cautionary tale. This period saw intense emotional displays, sometimes leading to accusations of fanaticism. It highlighted the need for theological grounding and pastoral care alongside spiritual fervor. A healthy revival fosters authentic, sustainable spiritual growth. It avoids creating an environment where individuals feel compelled to perform or conform to external expectations. Despite the challenges we have explored, it is imperative to acknowledge the profound, positive contributions of American revival movements. They have been catalysts for significant social reforms, inspiring movements for justice and equality. Their influence is seen in countless acts of charity and compassionate outreach. Most importantly, revivals have facilitated deep personal transformations for millions of individuals. Our goal in this examination has not been to dismiss the entirety of revival culture. Rather, it is to engage with its inherent complexities and paradoxes. We seek to understand the full spectrum of its impact, both celebrated and scrutinized. This investigation aims to distinguish between healthy and problematic expressions of revival. A healthy revival is characterized by a powerful combination of spiritual passion and grounded wisdom. It fosters genuine transformation while upholding ethical leadership and sound doctrine. Conversely, a problematic revival often sees passion overwhelming accountability and discernment. It prioritizes emotional experience above critical reflection and ethical stewardship. As we look to the future, several lingering questions demand our continued attention. Can American revival movements continue to inspire deep spiritual change? Can they do so while consciously avoiding the historical pitfalls and unintended consequences we have discussed? Are the challenges we have identified simply an inherent, unavoidable aspect of any large-scale spiritual movement? Or can we, through careful reflection and intentional practice, cultivate revivals that are both powerful and profoundly healthy? These are the questions that will shape the future of faith in America. This is the Scholar's Ledger, where history, faith, and power are revealed. Subscribe, share, and join the search for truth.